Jack stuffed the envelope into the mailbox. As soon as he turned around, the mailbox's flap suddenly moved. He hurried back to check the situation and discovered that in the mailbox, which had been empty just moments ago, there was now a reply letter. He looked around in disbelief. He was clearly the only person here. But what surprised him even more was the content of the letter. The person in the letter reminded him to keep warm because there was a cold wave coming today. Jack didn't take it seriously, but when he turned around, he suddenly realized that it had indeed started to snow heavily outside the window. This made him start to wonder, could the person in the letter really be from the future? The man's name was Jack. He had recently bought this lakeside cottage. On the first day he moved in, he found a letter in the mailbox. The person in the letter said her name was Amy and that she was the former tenant of this cottage. Due to work reasons, she had moved away from here. Since she had just relocated, she hadn't had time to change her mailing address yet. She hoped that future tenants could help forward her mail. Regarding the dog footprints in front of the door, she apologized, saying they had already been there before she moved in. As for the content of the letter, Jack felt very puzzled because there were no dog footprints on the path in front of the door. Moreover, as far as he knew, he was the first owner of this house. Jack didn't pay too much attention to this, thinking it was just a stranger's prank. However, the very next day, as Jack was painting the pier, a dog suddenly appeared, stepped on the paint can on the ground, and left a string of footprints in front of the door. This instantly reminded Jack of Amy's letter from the previous night. So, with doubts in his mind, he wrote back to Amy, asking if she had misremembered and stating that he was the first owner of this lakeside cottage. He also asked Amy how she knew about the dog footprints. On the other side, Amy came to the cottage again to check the mail and found Jack's reply to her. The content of the letter left her baffled. When she saw that the signature date on it was 2004, she immediately wrote a reply letter, repeatedly emphasizing that she was indeed the former tenant of the lakeside cottage, but had now moved away. At the end of this letter, she left her current address and a 2006 timestamp. Upon receiving the letter, Jack was greatly shocked. To verify the truth of Amy's words, he found the address in Amy's letter, but discovered that it was currently an unfinished construction site. Based on the construction timeline, the house would not be ready for occupancy for another 18 months. Early the next morning, Jack sent out another letter, questioning the time and address Amy had written in her letter. To prove that she was telling the truth, Amy presented evidence. She wrote in the letter that on April 3rd, 2004, there was a spring snowfall, and many people would catch colds because of it. She even included a scarf as a gift, reminding Jack to stay warm. But Jack still didn't take it seriously and tossed the letter aside because today was April 3rd, and he hadn't seen a single snowflake all day. However, when he turned around, he witnessed an amazing scene. It had indeed started to snow heavily outside the window. At that moment, Jack finally realized that the Amy in the letters was truly in a different time period from him, and that mysterious mailbox was the channel connecting their different times.